Life is all about traditions. Traditions tell your personal stories, and today I'm here to tell you about my traditions and my story. Good morning, middle school students and faculty. As most of you know, my name is Patrick Kowaleski, and I'm here today to talk to you about traditions and why they are essential to have with your friends and family. My family has many traditions, and I'm sure all of yours do too. Today I want to talk to you about some of them, including the big traditions and a little bit about the small ones. Some of the small ones in my family include Root Beer Friday, ice cream sundaes on Sunday, the St. Patrick's Day Parade, and having my house host Horseshoe Thursdays for the dads in my old neighborhood. All of these traditions were started for a reason, whether it was a passing down of the tradition from generation to generation, or just the start of a new tradition from an idea or an event. My family and I have 5 main traditions that we participate in almost every year. These 5 traditions are St. Joe's Festival, St. Ubaldo Weekend, Cape May, New Jersey, Penn State University football games, and the Ice Cream Social. Some of these traditions are done just in my immediate family, while others include my extended family. Now I'm going to tell you a little bit about each of these traditions, including a description of the tradition, why they are important to my family, and how they came to be. The first tradition is the Ice Cream Social, which is an event that my family organizes and holds at my house. This event started just as an end of the school year ice cream social, where kids would just come and celebrate the beginning of summer. However, this tradition morphed into becoming an event where people donated money, and our family then donated that money to a charitable organization we found interesting. At the event, we asked people to bring their favorite ice cream topping, and we provide the ice cream. Everyone comes and eats a big bowl of ice cream, and we ask people to donate $1 for every bowl of ice cream they have, while some people end up donating extra money. We also have little games and activities for the little kids, play sports like basketball and wiffle ball, and one time we even got a dunk tank. At the event, my family counts up all the money that we received from our friends and neighbors, and we then donate that money. Organizations we've donated to include Alex's Lemonade Stand, the Utley Foundation, and the Ryan Howard Big Peace Organization. This tradition is meaningful because it teaches my brothers and I how to give back to the community around us, and it shows that giving back can not only help others, but make you feel good as well. The second tradition is the St. Joe's Festival. This festival is hosted in Scranton, Pennsylvania, about 2 hours away from here. It is a festival that has been a part of my mom's life since she was a child. My maternal grandma and great-grandma have been involved for over 40 years, and my grandma is still involved to this day. My paternal grandma has also become actively involved in the festival for over 15 years. St. Joe's is a 3-day summer festival that is known as the biggest backyard picnic in Northeast Pennsylvania. This festival raises money for children and adults with intellectual and physical disabilities. As a young child, because my parents were involved in this, my family would drive to Scranton and go to the event to volunteer at one of the many stands, but also play games and donate money. This tradition is significant because volunteering time at this festival to help those in need has been passed down to my family from my great-grandma to my brothers and I. It has taught me that giving back to the gift of your time can be rewarding and fulfilling, especially when it involves an entire community. The third tradition is St. Ubaldo Weekend. This tradition takes place Memorial Day weekend in my dad's hometown of Jessup, Pennsylvania, which is just outside of Scranton. This tradition originated in Italy more than 850 years ago, but it was brought to the U.S. by Italian immigrants in 1909. The event is held in only 2 places in the world, Gubbio, Italy, and Jessup, Pennsylvania. Since my dad grew up in the town that hosts the race, his family became a part of the tradition. Now my grandparents open up their home to all of their children, grandchildren, and even our friends. This tradition is now passed down from my grandpa's family to my family and my cousins' families. The Friday we arrive, there's a parade with lots of fire trucks, police, and fans of the race and cars. My family and our cousins and friends eat pizza and get candy that's thrown from the trucks. The next day is the St. Ubaldo race, where 3 teams, St. Ubaldo, St. George, and St. Anthony, race around the town carrying 15-foot tall, 400-pound statues. 10 guys on each team carry the statue, while everyone else runs around and directs the statue through the roads. The occasion brings excitement and joy to this little town. The race ends at a field where the teams have to unload the top of the statue and race to the top of a nearby hill. The weekend ends with endless wiffle ball games and a truck ride in my Uncle Mike's Ford. This tradition is important to my family and my cousins because during this time, everyone on my dad's side of my family gets to see each other, and all the adults get to talk about what's going on in their lives, while my brothers and I are stuck watching our 5 little cousins who love to punch, tackle, and headbutt each other. The fourth tradition is a summer trip to Cape May, New Jersey. This tradition is important because it gives my mom's side of the family quality time to spend together. We have so many good memories and stories from the beach that we will never forget. One of those memories include the exotic houses that we've stayed at, one containing a rope as a railing, another including a large statue of a tiger, and just last year the house we rented had mannequins dressed in Hawaiian clothes. However, the most memorable house we stayed at was the Purple House, which was literally a house that was painted purple called the Sugar Plum Cottage. While at the house, I remember about 7 years ago, the time when my cousin lost his hermit crab and it was roaming around the house, nowhere to be found. My brothers and I were petrified because we knew crabs pinched, so we sat on the porch for a few hours and played with Legos until the crab was found under the couch. One of the best places we went to while in Cape May was Hot Dog Tommy's, which is a little hot dog stand that sells the best hot dogs I've ever had in my life. We would go there almost every day for lunch, and everyone would get 2 to 3 hot dogs and a slushie. Lastly, another tradition we have while at Cape May is playing a round of mini golf every night before we go out and get ice cream. Everyone bets a few dollars, and at the end of the week, whoever wins the most rounds gets all the money. This tradition is important to my family, grandparents, and cousins because it allows us to take a break from our normal lives back at our different houses and have a good time together at the beach. The fifth tradition is Penn State football games. Every other year, my family and either friends or other family go to Penn State to tailgate and watch the football game. My dad, uncles, and cousins are all Penn State alumni, so our family bleeds blue and white. This tradition is meaningful because it is a time where everyone is just enjoying themselves rather than worrying about something like work or sports back at their home. The whole point of going to the game is to watch it, so after we tailgate in the afternoon, we head into Beaver Stadium hoping Penn State can get the win. After the game is over, we go back out to the tailgate and play more football and eat even more food. A few minutes later, we go over to where the bus picks up the players to get autographs from the players and coaches on Penn State. After our footballs are all covered in signatures, people start leaving, but our tailgate is usually one of the last to leave. This tradition is important because we have a group of people that we usually go down to the games with, and it is always fun being with these people because we don't see them very often. This tradition is also important because we were able to meet Matt McGloin, who is now an NFL quarterback. His parents are good friends with my grandparents, so he would sometimes come to our tailgate after the game and talk to everyone. By now, you are all probably wondering why I'm telling you about traditions and why they are important. Traditions are important to everyone because they define the person you are and they tell your story and your past. I'd like for you all to think of one of your family's favorite traditions, whether it be going to the beach or just having a certain type of food for dinner on Fridays. Now imagine if your family had never begun that tradition. Imagine how many memories and good times would be lost without that one small tradition. I'd now like to show you a video about the traditions that some 8th graders here at Montgomery have.
My tradition is after Grandparents' Day, me and my grandparents and the Coopers, we go out to lunch.
Okay, so a family tradition is when my dog's birthday comes on Valentine's Day, we give her a pretty big slice of pizza because it's her favorite food.
Alright, okay, so a tradition of my family is in our family, we go down to OC, New Jersey every year. Our grandparents had a house on it for 15 years. We go down there every year, even before I was born. So we do that every year, every summer, we go down to see friends. And families from both sides always come back.
Just like individual families and extended families, Montgomery also has many traditions itself, which makes this place very different and unique. At the beginning of the year, we always have Welcoming Day, where the 6th grade meets the middle school teachers and the new kids meet their new classmates and teachers. We also have the team building event that the middle school always participates in during one of the first weeks of school. Year-long projects such as the 8th grade Make a Difference project is a tradition that the 8th graders always look forward to. Even chapel is a tradition. Without the tradition of 8th graders presenting a chapel, I and every other 8th grader you've heard present a topic would not have happened. Other traditions Montgomery has include the middle school trips, hanging the banner after an undefeated season, the buddy program, the Greek and Roman games, the moving up ceremony, and graduation. Without these traditions, Montgomery would not be the same place that it is now. Imagine a school year with no middle school trips and no Greek and Roman games. Without those trips and those games, we wouldn't be able to go to DC, Florida, and Canada, and we wouldn't be able to compete against each other by running the crescendo or jumping the hurdles. Also, along with the Greek and Roman games comes the 8th grade jumping into the creek. I think this tradition is meaningful because jumping into that freezing creek shows that together as a class we will do anything, even if it means stepping on some random thing at the bottom of a cold creek. The tradition brings us together. To end the chapel, I want you all to take away that traditions are to be celebrated and remembered. Traditions define you and who you will become. Traditions are meaningful because they bridge the past with the present and help create memories. I hope that hearing about my traditions can help you embrace your own story and help you tell your story. Remember that traditions are what make you happy and what give you such enjoyable memories. Whether your tradition is something large, like having a huge birthday party, or something small, like getting Domino's pizza when you ever have a sleepover, embrace what you were doing. I'm not up here trying to tell you never to try new things, but never forget what traditions mean to you. As Susan Lieberman said, traditions help us define who we are. They provide something steady, reliable, and safe in a confusing world. Thank you, and I hope you all have a great rest of your day.